A lot of people end up binging all of their work, and it's a great drug for that. I take Adderall on special occasions when I specifically need to pull an all-nighter and study or do assignments that I'm behind on. I'm not prescribed Adderall. I have lots of very ADHD friends who often are, so I can just ask for it.
I was never prescribed Adderall, but I was once prescribed Focalin for my ADHD in my senior year of high school and freshman year of college. For my college essay, I took it every day for over a week, and it just caused a lot of anxiety and put me in a depressive episode that I still have not recovered from fully.
I was prescribed Adderall when I was about 17. Around the time of like the SATs, I kind of really started noticing that I couldn't get through tests and stuff, or like I couldn't focus, and I would just like space out and then run out of time on tests. On Adderall, like my brain is kind of like, hey, what are you doing? You're supposed to be doing something right now. And it kind of makes it uncomfortable not to be doing something.
It's a paradoxical thing. If you prescribe a stimulant, which Adderall is, to someone who is sort of overstimulated, it has an opposite effect, a paradoxical effect, and it could make them focus easier. If Adderall is used in a non-prescription way, someone looking for it as a stimulant, there is a perception that it can help students focus. There's a perception that it can help them study better, but it also does a few other things that I don't think a lot of students take into account.
When I'm on Adderall, I feel a wide range of feelings, from very anxious to just focused. I have absolutely no idea where that balance is. It's a total mystery. I feel like I'm rolling the dice constantly on it.
I can like take Adderall, and then if I start my homework, then I'll continue to do my homework. But if I take Adderall and then I go play video games, then I'll find myself playing video games for like 20 hours, or not 20 hours, but I'll find myself playing video games all day and just hyper-focusing on that instead of what I should be hyper-focusing on.
There are definitely seasons that lead to an increased Adderall usage, such as finals week, midterms week, and it's weird because those are only really 2 weeks, like 2 to 3 weeks apart for most classes. So it's kind of like saying there's a high season for Adderall and it's kind of all the time. And all of the people who have Adderall, who normally just don't really advertise it, will start advertising on finals week.
Yes, I've sold stimulants before, and I currently sell to 3 or 4 people. It's just my friends. I don't seek people out or anything like that. I'm not trying to make a living or anything.
When I'm on Adderall, the effects that I feel, other than the increased focus, are like increased like heart rate. I'll sweat a lot. I won't be able to eat. I won't be able to sleep.
In terms of seeing Adderall's effect in my friends, it'll just be, oh, like so-and-so person is on their 4th day without sleep. And it's just kind of a commonly accepted fact. And you just kind of go about your day being like, fuck, they really need to get some sleep.
I've seen stimulants affect my friends in a way where they have a hard time getting off of them and back onto them and stuff like that. I do feel bad for providing it, to be honest. That's why I would rather them take the ones that I had that are way less strong than Adderall, because it's like a better alternative, but the guilt's still there.
If you're at 0, you don't have ADHD, and then you take Adderall, you're going to be like at a 10. Whereas like if I'm starting off at a -10 and I take Adderall, then I'm at 0. So now I'm like the same as everyone else. As a person who like sometimes sells Adderall, I definitely get a little nervous when somebody asks me for Adderall and then they say they've never tried it before, because I'm like, I don't want you to take this and then now think that you can't do your work without it.
Students who use Adderall to help as a study aid tend to overrate how they do with Adderall and underrate how they performed before they started using Adderall as a study aid.
If I've been taking my Adderall every day for a month or something, and then I decide I don't want to take it anymore, or like I run out early, I will get withdrawal effects for sure. But like the withdrawal effects are more like I will eat way too much, like I'll sleep way too much.
When it comes to knowing when to get help, there's a couple of like questions that get asked to screen for substance use disorders. General categories of such would be, has friends or family made comments to you that maybe you're using too much of whatever the substance is, and that's peers or family or other. Are there any kind of problems that arise from the substance use, whether it's interpersonal or neglecting of responsibilities the day after, or neglecting of your academic responsibilities, like missed classes? Like, are those kind of things happening?
Although I do think Adderall really helps me when I'm having trouble focusing and stuff, but there is a lot of times where I'm just being lazy or unmotivated, and I just take the Adderall because it provides me with that motivation.
Adderall use on college campuses is so prevalent, I think, because it's used as a shortcut. And I think that one of the things that all students, myself included when I was in college, are great at procrastinating.
I think the bigger issue around Adderall is how it's a sign of a education system that can easily reward studying quickly for a high-stakes exam, or just binging through assignments, because the only thing that matters is actually if you get them in, whether you know the material or not, and you'll get by, you'll get B's doing that. And like, so I think that the fact that the way it's used is indicative of parts of our education system, and that's more concerning to me.
If the environment were different, it wouldn't be like this. Yeah.
I don't think that I will be taking Adderall for the rest of my life. I think that once I'm out of a school setting, that I'll be able to cope with my ADHD without Adderall.
So for students struggling with addiction or wanting to talk about their relationship to any substances, there's a couple of avenues. The Counseling Center will talk to people about that. The Wellness Center, myself and a couple of our counselors here, are all specialists in drug counseling. So we will talk to students not in a shameful or wagging finger kind of way, but just hearing concerns.